Welcome to Cumulus Community, a weekly public affairs show spotlighting the most pressing issues affecting our community. Now, here's this week's host.
Good morning and welcome to Cumulus Community. This is Amy Ponce, and I have the distinct pleasure of speaking with Juan Wilson Jr., founder, executive director of the MUSE Foundation of Rhode Island. Good morning, Juan.
Good morning.
So you founded the MUSE Foundation of Rhode Island?
Yes, I did. I actually founded in 2021. I've worked in the nonprofit sector as of 10 years just in 2024 and worked on a lot of boards and other organizations, and we work with a lot of fiscal agents. So I decided to start our own organization that could help fill the gaps that we're trying.
What does MUSE of RI do?
So the MUSE Foundation is a foundation composed of a community of color for communities of color. We focus on marginalized communities and try to demystify philanthropy through innovative techniques as far as like event planning, crowdfunding, and crowdsourcing for raising funds. We want to be a grantor versus a grantee, and we try to demystify philanthropy and let everyone know they can be a philanthropist without being a person of affluence with a ton of money or even actually having an organization. So we're trying to really focus on self-sufficiency in marginalized communities.
So anybody who has an idea and doesn't know how to make that idea grow, you kind of help them out.
Yep, we do that, as well as advocacy to try to create policy that gives people that autonomy to do that. So wherever we can fill gaps where there's friction and make it less friction for folks to get involved in philanthropy, that's what we do.
Now, do you have events throughout the year or, networking?
Yeah, so we do networking. We also serve on boards with some of the most influential grantors in the state, like United Way, Rhode Island Foundation. We also serve on one of the boards at Brown University. And we host events. We host networking events, symposiums, informational events, as well as events to help economic development in some of these communities. So you'll see some of the things we do, including advocating to make Juneteenth a paid state holiday. We spearheaded that campaign and celebrated for the first time last year. And so we created the Taste of Juneteenth as an economic development source, as well as for folks to indulge in the culture. So, and you'll see more events happen throughout the year that we do that.
And I do know that you work very closely with the younger crowd too, right?
Yes, I do. I turned 50 last year.
Oh,
in December.
Happy birthday.
And thank you. And for 25 years is when I actually started in philanthropy. I've hosted a toy drive every year on my birthday. For 25 years. And then this recently we celebrate a decade of Rhode Island's #1 youth summit, where it's called Turn Up. And so working with 8th through 12th graders, trying to give opportunity for them to see practitioners that look like them in the community, but they might not see these particular careers emulated in their community.
Mm-hmm.
So we host basically a culturally competent career conference. And we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary, and we're hosting at Fox Towers in Foxwood in the Celebrity Ballroom, so youth can really get an experience of traveling to a conference and experience a different geographic area and increasing their human capital. So it's always about experience for the young people and paying it forward.
Wow. And I love I'm looking at your hashtags and it's the Youth Empowerment Society of Providence County,
yes.
But yes, PVD. I love that. I don't know, it just feels good. It feels positive. Turn Up RI, the hashtag. How are you coming up with all of these here?
So that's great that you even notice and understand why we do the Youth Empowerment Society of PVD, which is yes, which is a reinforcement word, because a lot of people hear no all the time.
Yeah.
So they hear yes, and basically to empower youth, and that's one of MUSE's initiatives, because that's what we focus on. We don't really do programming besides Turn Up, because we've been doing it for 10 years. Mm-hmm. Yes PVD is our youth initiative, and we target 13 to 24-year-olds in the Yes program. And Providence County, because that seems to be where the most need is, but we never refuse any youth that want to participate. We get youth from Newport, South County. We've had youth from Massachusetts. So we never say no to young people that want to engage and advance their skill set.
Awesome. And, you said you started at 25 doing your toy drive on your birthday. Now, tell me about what made you, obviously, I mean, maybe because you were December. Are you like Christmas baby, or are you just straight up December baby?
I'm December 12th, so 12/12.
Yeah.
And 25 years ago, I had started as an event promoter. You might see on my LinkedIn, everyone talks about, I was one of the folks to bring Jay-Z for the first time to Rhode Island. I did a lot of hip-hop shows, and that's when I actually started working with Hot 106, then Kicks 106. As an advertising medium. So I was a media buyer, promoter. And so I hosted an event for my birthday, and I'm like, this would be a great way to collect. And at the time, we were collecting for Toys for Tots. So we had a Marine with the box at the event, and we collected for Toys for Tots probably for 15 years out of the 25. And then the last 10, I've been going directly with smaller orgs. And so I wanted to really pinpoint certain communities to make sure they had access to toys. So the last 10 years, we've been giving to a few smaller orgs directly.
Right.
But yeah, I started just basically bring a toy and you get in for free. And the initial event we did in Johnston, and basically in 2000, I think it was 2000, we had 1,000 people. And so we collected about 800 plus toys.
Wow.
And then I did it sporadic throughout the year. And then the last couple of years, I've been doing it under the banner SPVD. And I'm continuing to collect toys on my birthday.
Aw, that's awesome. You know, I have a couple of friends that have the December birthdays, and they're like, we never get a birthday, no matter what. Everybody's so busy. So it's like, well, if that's your case, then how about just organize a toy drive?
Exactly my
Everyone
point, because
else.
I get caught in the middle.
Yeah.
Exactly. Instead of worrying about me, bring something for everyone else. And we run the campaign a month now from November 1st to my birthday. We close it out. Thank you to Jeremy Duffy at the Guild. We host the event there. I also work with the district in Providence. Jen Freitas, she kicks it off with her Customer Appreciation Day, where folks come in and she collects toys. So we work with different companies and organizations that also help us collect.
And then can we just talk about something that, like, go off subject a teeny tiny bit? You had mentioned that you had designed the logo for Hot 106, like when it turned Hot 106 from Kicks?
Yes, ma'am.
So
I actually did two editions. So I did the original logo. Shout out to DJ Buck. I think actually you guys, I don't know if it was Cumulus at the time. It might have been still AAA Entertainment. And then Cumulus acquired Hot 106. But DJ Buck had hired me back then to design the logo. And then you had another former DJ, Half Pint, who reached out to me because you were number one for hip hop. And then like, we got to add R&B. So he reached out to me in probably 2007 to update it. And he's like, Juan, we got to put number one for R&B and hip hop. So he's like, I'm going to go to the original designer. So he reached out to me. And then I put number one for R&B and hip hop. But yeah, I did the original logo that went from Kicks 106 to Hot 106.
That's pretty cool, which is now the wolf.
Yeah, it's full circle because my kids loved it every time they were at events, concerts, and my dad did that. Especially my son. He's 32, but for all these years he's always been he's probably, I see it now. I said now you're not gonna see it as much, but that logo was one of the long lasting. I've done some corporate identity for other radio stations as well in the state and out of state. But I no longer do graphic design services because I focus so much on a nonprofit, but I do the marketing design for what I do within the nonprofit.
Well, you're definitely a good leader yourself as far as leading this particular organization. So I want to ask you if, whoever's listening right now and they are like, I would love to get involved, or my child might want to get involved. What do we do? Where do we go? How do we do it?
You can go to MUSEOFRI.org. So that's MUSEOFRI.org. Everything's pretty much there. All our initiatives, how to get in contact with me. It's also MUSEOFRI on all social handles. You can reach out and those hashtags that you mentioned, I tend to use them often. So if you click on it, it will show past, present, and things that we're doing in the future attached to those hashtags. Okay. We're pretty prevalent in social media, and now organically, thank you to radio and television, we're getting the word out there so how people can get involved and engage in the program.
And you know what's funny? I didn't even ask you. Does MUSE stand for something? MUSE?
A lot of people ask because some folks thought, is it an acronym? And I said, no. So MUSE is a form of inspiration. You hear it in the art world. So your muse is your inspiration. So if an artist sees a young man or young woman that they want to create a sculpture or a painting, Like they were the purpose and the inspiration. So community is my inspiration. So that's what MUSE stands for. So what is my muse? My inspiration is actually community. So MUSE stands for an inspiration.
I love that. That's deep.
Everything could be an acronym in nonprofit.
Yeah, I know, right? That's why should be a game show.
Yeah,
nope, this is just a regular word. We're using the word muse. It's that easy.
Yeah, when I get memos that say CDC, I get concerned, but it's actually Community Development Corp. It's not the other CDC.
Oh, gosh.
So there's a lot of different acronyms that have multiple meanings in nonprofits, but MUSE it can be. I can probably create an acronym with it, but its intention is to my inspiration is community, so I try to have folks identify their muse as well.
So what's the next event?
Actually, April, I'm sponsoring the 401 Gives campaign.
Okay.
With United Way, and so you'll see our logo on the front website. So we'll be sponsoring 401 Gives, and we participate as a nonprofit, but we tend to like to highlight other organizations because they have a leaderboard, and some of the smaller organizations might not have the resources to rise above in that leaderboard. So I use my sponsorship opportunity to highlight those smaller organizations. So that's coming up on April 1st. And then we have our 10th anniversary event happening the weekend of April 12th and 13th at Foxwoods. That's the Turn Up event that we have coming. And then after that, we'll be working on the Taste of Juneteenth for the Juneteenth holiday and programming in June. So those are the next 3 things that are happening this spring.
And they'll be here before we know it.
Yes, it's already, after this phone call, I'm back to planning, back to permitting, back to reaching out, doing, because there's only a staff of 1. Most people don't know that as well, which is me. And then we have our board members.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's pretty much me, a volunteer position. But I love doing this, and I just love paying it forward. I'm the colorful philanthropist in my family.
Well, thank you so much, and make sure you visit musefoundation.org for more information or #MuseOfRI.
This has been Cumulus Community.